Hi, Martin Radnan here. We're currently working through the Level 2 Basic Word module from the ECDL Extra course, and we're now up to Lesson 10, the Science Experiment. In this video, we're going to look at creating and formatting tables. We will also cover creating numbered lists, inserting and resizing images, and using Quickparts within headers and footers. By the end of the lesson, we'll have written up notes from a science experiment. So let's head to the associated website, select Word, and then Word Lesson 10, the Science Experiment. You will find a Tables Help link which will be available from here or here. But as far as we're concerned, what I want to do now is to look at the instruction sheet and to download the picture of the experiment. The instruction sheet is here, and if you're able to download the image, it should look like this. Okay, so let's get started. Create a new blank Word document and put your name in the header. So, insert, header, blank, and my name, and close the header and footer. Now, if we look at the shorthand notes that were taken at the time of the experiment, we want to make a copy in Word. So first let's type in the text, and then we'll deal with the formatting. We want to turn these instructions into a numbered list. So select the 11 instructions, and then from the Home tab, select Numbered List, and click away. Next, let's insert the picture of the experiment, and we want to position it below the instructions, centered, and then we're going to resize it to a height of 5 centimeters. So let's position our cursor under the 11 instructions, and then insert Pictures from this device or from File, navigate to the location that you stored the image in, select the image and press Insert. Let's zoom out, let's center the image, and now let's resize it so that it has a height of 5 centimeters. So make sure the image is selected, picture format, and let's change the height to 5 centimeters. Press Tab, and the picture will be resized. Okay, let's see how far we've got with the instructions. We've typed the instructions into the Word document, we've inserted a picture of the experiment, we've positioned it centrally, and we've set the height of the picture to be 5 centimeters. Okay, let's move on to the second page, and we're now going to deal with creating the table. So, if we look at the table of data, we need to work out how many rows and columns are going to be required. Well, each type of crystal will need 3 rows, and each trial will require 2 columns. Also, the titles Trial 1, Trial 2 and Trial 3 will need to be merged. And we also need to bear in mind that we're going to need to set some of the borders not to show so that we replicate the table as closely as possible. So, let's create the table. Position the cursor below the picture, and then from the Insert tab, Table. Now my reckoning is that we'll need 1 row for the titles, 3 rows for the aluminium, 3 rows for the salt, and 3 rows for the sugar. That makes 10 rows. As far as columns are concerned, we need 1 for the metal, 2 for trial 1, 2 for trial 2, and 2 for trial 3. That makes 7 columns. So I'm going to create a table which is 10 rows and 7 columns. Insert table, and let's specify 7 columns and 10 rows. And then press OK. First, let's merge the title cells. So select these 2 cells, right-click, and merge the cells. Let's go for the next 2 along, right-click, merge cells. And then for the third section, right-click, merge cells. Once we've done this, now let's enter the data, and we'll deal with formatting of borders and text later. So, the titles. Trial 1, Trial 2, and Trial 3. AVG equals 4. Now let's sort out the borders. Trial 1, Trial 2 and Trial 3, the titles, don't want any border at all. So select them, go for the Home tab, Borders, no border. In fact, the same applies to this cell over here, so let's do the same for that one. Borders, no border. Okay, the next section down, which is the next 3 rows, first of all, I'm going to put a thick black border around it with no border inside. So select the 3 rows. This time I want to be a little bit more precise with how to apply the borders. So to do that, click on the down arrow next to borders, and this time let's go for borders and shading. I'm going to look at the borders section, and what I want is a thick border, let's say a 2 1/4 point thick, and I want it just around the outside. And then press OK. Let's do the same with the next 3 rows. So select the next 3 rows, the down arrow next to the borders button, borders and shading, 2 1/4 thick, box. And for the third section, the same. Okay, now there's more we need to do with the borders. So I'm going to select just the section for the first trial for alum. For that section, again, I'm going to do just an outside border. So borders and shading, we'll go for 2 1/4 point as well, and a box around those. Now let's do this for the other trials. Okay, so we've sorted out the borders. Now let's go for some text formatting. First of all, The titles want to be a larger font, bold, and centralized. Also, the alum also wants to be a larger size, as does the salt, as does the sugar. Okay, now let's sort out some colouring. The AVG equals 4 wants to be a blue colour, as does S equals 0, AVG equals 0.133, S equals 0.352, AVG equals 2.63, and S equals 1.246. Next, the numbers in the table could do with being larger and centralized. So, from the Home tab, let's increase the font size and centralize. Okay, let's continue with changing some font colors. I can see there's more red than blue, so let's select all of these and change them to red. And then let's isolate which ones want to be blue. Okay, now let's set the fill colour for the 3 trial columns to different shades of grey. Okay, let's zoom out and see what we've achieved. For the moment, save the document as Science Experiment. And now that the file has a file name, we can insert this automatically into the footer. So let's insert a footer into the document. Insert footer. Select a blank footer. Now, down here where it says type here, let me just zoom in. We want to insert the file name. To do that, insert and then Quickparts, field, and then scroll down to find file name. Select it and then click OK. Let's get back onto the header and footer and close the header and footer view. OK, let's zoom out again. Check that your document fits onto one page. If not, take out any redundant lines and if necessary change the margins. Let's save the document again and then print a copy to the XPS document writer. Okay, so we've had a look at inserting and formatting tables. I hope you can make good use out of these features as it helps you professionalize your work. Next time, amongst other text formatting skills, we'll learn how to use custom margins and also the format painter. Okay, I hope this is making sense, and I look forward to seeing you next time.